Good morning, everyone. This is the Wellness Radio, and we're so excited to be here this morning. We got a little bit of sunshine out there, so that's really exciting. If this is your first time tuning in, this is the Wellness Radio. Our purpose is to empower you, to educate you, and to challenge you to make the best decisions for your health. Because the truth is, if you're doing the same thing as everyone else, you're going to end up like everyone else. So, guys, I'm so excited because every Saturday morning we get to come in here and we get to talk about what it looks like to get well. You know, it's crazy. This past week I've had quite a few people come in from the radio show, and I tell them, and I'm not like, I get overly excited, and they're kind of like, oh, cool. I was like, man, I get so excited that I get to meet people that just started listening to us, that listen to maybe like 2 minutes, or people that have been listening for years, that they make a decision to come in and to do something different with their health. And that is just amazing. So we do practice here locally in Chattanooga. We're located in Hamilton Place, right across from the YMCA and next to the Home Depot. And we also do virtual health coaching. And I'm so excited because 2019, we're going to be bringing you guys so many more resources. If you've been following along on our radio show, for years, we've been here consistently. We're talking about information, but unless you make an appointment, there's no other way for you to connect with us. Big things happening. It's going to start launching here in the next 30 days. We're going to have a big seminar to launch it off, talking about keto and healing your body for 2019. So you guys are going to want to stay tuned to that. Make sure you're liking our page at Drs. Warren, DRSWARREN. Follow us on there and join our Facebook group, Wild Wellness Tribe. And so today, what we want to talk to, I want to jump into this because this is just extraordinary. The crazy thing is when we started talking about different subjects a few years ago, no one was talking about it. And now everyone's talking about it, even medical doctors. So how do you fight autoimmune disease and cancer starting in your gut? Okay? How do you prevent cancer with the foods that you eat? And it's crazy because, we do nutrition coaching in the office with our patients that are getting adjusted or their health coaching. And I always have to explain to them, listen. I have so many people that come into this office that have digestive issues and have no digestive symptoms. Do you understand that being well means getting your whole body well? Do you understand that for some of you, majority of you, because you guys come in and talk to me, majority of you, the only reason you are on so many different medications is because your health has been mismanaged, period. I kind of believed that and thought that when I first got into practice, and now coaching person after person, it's confirmed. You are not well because you have not gotten to the cause. Thyroid people that come in, you are not well because you have not gone to the cause. Oh, now you have PCOS. Now you have IBS. Now you're chronically fatigued. Now you have this adrenal issues because you are not well. And the problem is this. We look on the outside. Let me go ahead and tell you this. Forever and ever and ever, till the end of time, all science and medicine is trying to do is copy what our amazing bodies do. All science and medicine is trying to do what God already did, okay? And I'm going to share with you, an article that really allowed us to see this, to really understand this, to really, as soon as we saw this article, we're going to do a radio show about getting well, preventing and fighting cancer, preventing and fighting autoimmune issues by working on your immune system. That is right. So Mel Greaves, he is a cancer scientist. This is really unique. It's going to be talking about kids, but has major implications about what adults, what's happening nowadays in our lives, what we're being exposed to. So Mel Greaves, scientist, top at the Institute of Cancer Research in London. He just got knighted. I guess that means he's a knight now.
Kind of a big deal. Right?
Yeah, kind of a big deal.
So we should call him Sir Mel Greaves.
Yeah. Oh, is that what yeah. Wow, look at you. So cultural. But anyway, so he has spent the last 3 decades talking about leukemia in children. And the reason, not talking about, he's been researching it for 3 decades. That's why he got knighted. He's been researching it because he noticed a few things. Number one, this man who's looked at leukemia for 3 different decades says it's not inherited. Okay, so if it's not inherited, guess what? Then something caused it. And this, you know what? He's not even an alternative health doctor. He's a medical doctor, so I give him kudos for this. So he thought, you know what? Something causes it. That means we have to get down to the cause in order to prevent it and get people well. How many of your medical doctors say that? How many medical doctors, oh, you got diabetes, but you weren't born with it. What caused it? Oh, your thyroid is bad? You know, what caused it? No, they're not saying that. That's why people aren't getting well. But anyway, so he says, okay, something caused it, so I need to look into it. He also noticed that leukemia diagnoses are rising every year steadily, 1%. It doesn't matter about this stinking war on cancer. Leukemia in children, the diagnosis steadily has not gone down, 1% every single year. And finally, the thing he noticed about leukemia, and guys, we can do a show, an hour for each cancer and give you information about that because there's so much out there. But the other thing he found is that the leukemia, it was rising and continuing to rise in affluent societies, like societies that have money. So developing countries don't have this issue, okay? And so the really crazy thing is if you see the article, if you see how he speaks, he is like so certain in the research he's done. He says there is something that's going to cause leukemia. So we need to stop that something and we will stop leukemia. So he says 2 things, and we'll get into this. Number 1, something happens in the womb. He says it's accident. With us, we see it in the research, we see it in our office, we are toxic. Yep. We are toxic generation, and the next generation is even more toxic, and it's going to keep on going down. So he sees that something happens in the utero. He says it's an accident. We tell you this, listen, there's so many women and men with hormone issues that are just getting by. They're on birth control or they're getting injections. They're being told that this is fine. There's men that even when you guys were fertile, you felt tired. You felt like you struggled with stuff, but no one was diagnosing it. Doctors back then, 15, 20 years ago, and still today, don't know what to do with people that have hormone issues. Well, guess what? Hormone issues are directly influenced by xenoestrogens, by plastic, by beauty products, by cleaning products, by pesticides and herbicides. So here's all these people that are having issues, having children, then they get pregnant, whether that's, infertility treatments or another way, and they have this toxic burden, and guess what happens? You pass it on to your kid. So he says, number 1, something happens in utero that changes the genes. You have a gene snip. Your genes are activated. Now you're on high alert. And then the second thing that happens, listen to this, the second thing that happens is that a kid does not get sick within the first year of being alive.
Wait, what is it? Wait,
the
say that again? Yeah.
Children need to have an infection within the first year of life. And guess what? Fight it stinking naturally so that they can have a strong immune system to, in turn, not develop leukemia. So, oh my gosh, I got the whooping cough for my grandkid, or I got the flu shot. Congrats, now you're doing them a disfavor. That's right. Or, we sanitize and...
Yeah, which I think it was an Elijah that had whooping cough.
It's something crazy.
And again, it sounded super scary, but just taking care of him, giving him lots of love, lots of supporting his immune system, things like that, and he was able to get through it in a natural way. But yeah, I think this is absolutely huge. We have first step involves genetic mutation. Here's what's really cool, just to kind of repeat what you said, because this is not inherited. This is a gene mutation that happens.
And we're talking about leukemia. So if you're just tuning in, I know people go in and out. So we're talking about leukemia, and this doctor found out how in childhood we can.
Yep. How you can basically eradicate and prevent it. And so he says gene mutation in utero, right? But only 1% of those born with that genetic mutation go on to have leukemia. So what does that mean? Again, it's not inherited, right? It's influenced by your internal and external environment, right? So it's called epigenetics. We go over this almost every single show that again, your genes are influenced by the lifestyle that you choose to live. Your genes are influenced by the air that you choose to breathe, by the water that you choose to drink. your genes are literally triggered. Those mutations are triggered by your environment that you choose to put your body in, right? And so here you go. And then the second step that you mentioned is that the child is not exposed to one or more common infection early on, right, as a baby. And so this is, again, this is a huge deal in that first year of life. And so this is kind of the common thing that we have to continuously educate our patients about, and educate especially those patients that come in with, you know, little ones and little kids, is that, again, the body is intelligent. It's so smart. Mm-hmm. That means when they're exposed to a virus or bacteria that their body's never been exposed to, it is meant to have these symptoms that in our society we call being sick, right? Now, in our office, we start labeling it a little bit different. We call it expressing health, because if you come in contact with a virus that the body has never been introduced to, it has a couple steps, right? It triggers two parts of the immune system, which is cell-mediated part and humoral part. So what does that mean? It means your child is going to get a fever, right? They're going to get a fever, and then they're going to get snot, and then they're going to get, you know, like things like drainage that goes into the chest, that goes into the throat, those type of things. Bottom line is, it's not things that feel good. It's not things that are fun to go through. It is uncomfortable. It is discomfort. But what we know is it trains the body, and it creates an intelligence, and it educates the body to be prepared for greater things down the road.
But Doc, you know, my kid, he looks uncomfortable. Yeah. But this fever, and my doctor said to take Tylenol, or I'm sick and I went to the doctor and I took antibiotics. But we do a lot of things for comfort.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, and listen, I've got two kids. I don't like for them to feel uncomfortable. Like, there's no, I don't like that. I don't like to see that, right? And it's not like I'm saying that I like to watch my kids suffer. I'm not saying that at all, right? I don't like to be uncomfortable. I don't like my kids to be in discomfort. But I also have the knowledge, right, and the education to recognize that this thing that they're going to be going through is going to strengthen them later on in their life, right? It's going to strengthen them later on in their life. And then, so what do? I still cuddle them, right? I give them lots of love, lots of kisses. We get them adjusted. We do some things that we're going to go over later on the show that boost your immune system, that work on creating a healthy environment. We're going to go through all those things. But bottom line is, I recognize, and I've had to learn over these years, that when they go through a little bit of discomfort, it's going to lead to a stronger immune system and a better protection later on in life from things like not only leukemia, but right, we know things like chickenpox. If a child actually naturally goes through chickenpox, it decreases the risk of glioblastoma, the most deadly form of brain cancer. Measles, we know, decreases blood cancer. Again, these are training our immune system.
But this is the thing, we're talking about kids right now, but what you guys don't realize, you older folks, is this message that you've been told both consciously and subconsciously, that when you're having a symptom, oh no, I gotta push through, I gotta take something for it, I'm gonna take NyQuil to sleep, I gotta take Tylenol. I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't know what the prescriptions are for when you get sick. I was gonna try to list them, but the problem is, you have even been kind of trained that, oh no, there's a symptom, I gotta do something about it, there's a fever, I gotta do something about it, I gotta get to work, I gotta do this, and that's crap, because even you're seeing these antibiotic resistant drugs. Let me go ahead and tell you, antibiotics are life-saving. If emergency, in an emergency situation, if something happens to me, give me an antibiotic and let me live. But we're taking antibiotics like candy. Now people are becoming resistant. It's not working. All of this to say, a perfect example is our nanny. She had an allergic reaction. She had hives, and she was like, my eyes are swelling. And I was like, send me a picture. And her eyes were like swollen, but they weren't swelling shut. And so I told her, I was like, unless your throat is closing, just in the next hour, don't do anything about it. So she came in, and actually all she ended up doing was taking a supplement. But even in that situation, I said, okay, when did this swelling start? And she was like, well, I was walking into the gym. We already were working with her with some health things, and I'm like, well, what happens if there was pesticides that you're sensitive to? What happens if they had just sprayed it? What happens if there's a cleaning chemical that you were sensitive to, and it's in your body? Do you think your body wants it there? And she was like, no. I was like, so your body's so stinking smart, it's gonna push it out. Guess where it pushes it out to? your skin, you're going to have a histamine reaction, it's going to push it out. I go, so why in the heck, if your body is doing something amazing, why shut down that reaction? Why not support your immune system? And that's what we want to talk to you guys about today is don't shut down your immune system. 98% of what you're doing when you're not feeling well or preventative measures, you're trying to just cut things off. You're trying to stop the healing process, aka stop fighting that disease. That's what you're doing. But you need to change your mindset. You need to start supporting your immune system so that you can heal and function the way that you're supposed to.
No doubt. And so, again, guys, we do this every show. If you guys are listening and you want our help, make sure you give Mary Beth a call at the office. That number is 423-362-5360. I was having a conversation with a patient on Tuesday who wanted to get one of their friends in. And again, you know, it was like everybody had this mad rush at the end of December to get into our office. So again, guys, we are a couple weeks out when it comes to appointments, except for this radio show. We always block off certain times throughout the week for you guys. So if you want an appointment to come in and see us and figure out how we can actually start taking care of your immune system, educating on what you can do about it and how to boost that immune system and get it where it needs to be, guys, that number is 423-362-5360 if you're listening on Facebook Live and you live in another place. Again, guys, we do virtual consults as well. Maybe you're dealing with something that's attacking the immune system. Maybe it's a child with certain immune function, dysfunction, things like that. Guys, we'd love to be able to work with you, again, even virtually. Just give Mary Beth a call, that same number, 423-362-5360. This is Wellness Radio. We'll be right back after the break. All right, good morning, guys. Good to see you guys. Hey, Ruthie, good to see you. Mom's on, good to see you. Kaylee, good to see you on here. CML, we love you as well. You know, I'm just super excited to talk about this topic, mainly because, again, I actually work with a lot of kids in our office. I think in our office, what are we at? We have like, you know, over 100 kids that come in and see us on a weekly basis that we help to take care of. And I love it because what I always tell every parent is it's all about, you know, creating these future generations, a healthy future generation. You know, no doubt I want to help, you know, everybody of every age. But again, when I get to work with kids, it's amazing because we get to absolutely prepare their body for not only the future, but we know that the preparation we're making now will actually change future generations as well. So again, but this is an important subject for everybody because if we're not actually properly, number one, building up, you know, the immune system in the body and the defenses of the body, if we're not actually creating an education process in the body, and if we're not protecting it from future things, this is why we're seeing such a major rise in things like autoimmune disease, major rise in cancer, is all because of these principles of not building up the immune system and supporting the immune system, but again, keeping it away from things. So like being afraid to, you know, go outside and get your hands dirty, or everybody spraying everything with stinking Lysol. Like anytime, it's crazy. I like cringe when I go into like a public bathroom because you'll see things like all this potpourri spray everywhere. You'll see things like, you know, Lysol spray everywhere. It's like, holy crap. It's like I'm going into one of the most toxic environments just by going to the bathroom in a public restaurant. It's like, guys, we have to understand we can't over-sanitize our environment. Stop over-sanitizing our environment. There's a reason why. Do you guys know the most common place for you to pick up an antibiotic-resistant bug, an antibiotic-resistant bacteria, things like staph infection, things like MRSA? You know the most common place you can pick it up? It's the hospital, right? The hospital that's supposed to be the most sterilized place on the planet, because what we're starting to realize and recognize is that we're fighting this battle against bacteria and against microbes, and we're drastically losing it, and we're losing it quick. So we're going to go over some solutions with that on how to boost the immune system and how to do it the right way, so stay tuned. All right, guys, welcome back. This is Dr. Warren. This is Wellness Radio, and I'm here with Dr. Rebecca Warren as well. We are talking about one of my favorite subjects. We're going over how to build and boost the best environment, right, for your body to be able to ward off disease, both acute disease and future disease. Guys, this all stems from an article, if you're just now tuning in on Facebook Live, or if you're tuning in, to our radio show here. We talked about a story that just recently came out. Sir Mel Greaves, he's a scientist, a pioneering scientist, so much so that I just said he just got knighted, right? That's kind of a big deal. But anyway, he's been researching childhood leukemia for the past 30 years. So he's been going through childhood leukemia. And basically what it comes down to is this. He gradually built up evidence, right, that showed that there are two major steps that create things like leukemia in children. And Dr. Becca mentioned this earlier. We're seeing a rise in leukemia, steady rise, 1% rise every single year. And we're only seeing it in our more developed countries, not in developing nations, but only in developed countries, which means countries with the most money, which means what? Money's not always the answer to absolutely finding help. But here's what he found out. 2 steps that he's showing. If you get these things right, again, you're going to prevent a child from getting leukemia. Number 1, the first steps involve a genetic mutation in utero. A genetic mutation, right? So how does this happen? How do you get a genetic SNP, a genetic mutation? This is not something that's inherited, right, from your mother or your father. This is not, and again, I'm speaking specifically about leukemia. This is not like saying, oh, I get this specific gene that no matter what I do about it, then I'm going to get leukemia. No. It's saying something triggered a genetic mutation. What are those things that can trigger a genetic mutation? Things like heavy metals, right? Things like parabens and pesticides, chemicals, hormones, antibiotics, all these things that not only are our household cleaning products to the water that we drink to the food that we eat, all these things are bombarding our bodies with it. These are creating genetic SNPs and damage within the cell, right? So we know that this creates genetic mutation, right? But here's what he also says. This is how you know that, again, it's not passed down as far as a genetic problem from mother to child, that only 1% of those born with a genetic SNP like this create leukemia, which means that what? Your environment controls what genes are turned on and turned off. Then he says, second step is that if a child does not contract 1 or more infections within their first year of life. So what is he saying? We absolutely have to train the immune system. So again, if you're just now tuning in, yes, it is a good thing, right, on occasion to be able to be introduced to new bacteria, to new viruses that stimulate an immune response inside of the body. That is an education, and that is absolutely necessary to your health. Is it fun to go through these uncomfortable things? No, it is not. Is it fun to watch my kids go through these things? Absolutely not. But I know and I'm aware, and now I'm educated enough to know that, again, this is amazing. It is going to strengthen their bodies and is going to prepare them for, again, these future bigger issues that are coming. It's training the immune system. It's like building muscles, right?
And like the crazy thing is, from children to adult, all I feel like everyone's trying to do is not get sick, not get the infection, and if they get the infection, is just cut it really short. Like, all I hear the first year of life in a child's life is, don't come over. And like, don't get me wrong, like, you don't want anything crazy. But the thing is, the problem is this, for a lot of kids that are experiencing this, within the first few days of life, a lot of them are getting antibiotics in their eyes. If you had the goop in the eyes after you birth your baby, they put antibiotics in your child's eyes. So all the kids, like almost all of the kids in America, unless you say no, are going to start off with antibiotics in their eyes.
Perfect.
And why? Just in case you have an STD. But I'm married and I have a family. Yeah, I know. That's how outdated and whacked out our medical system is.
How easy is it to test for an STD?
You do get tested. At the beginning, in your first trimester, you get tested for STDs. So here's a kid, they get antibiotics, and if you've had Pitocin or epidural, they're exposed to that in the womb as well. So they're already, the beginning of life, getting exposed to a lot of things. A lot of kids within 24 hours of being alive will receive a vaccine for sexually transmitted diseases, just in case they go out and have sex or go do IV drugs. They inject that into them to make sure, So all these kids tend to be bombarded with things, and then let's say they get a little fever or something happens. I'll never forget my niece around Thanksgiving a few years ago. She was like, she had a fever, and I'm not gonna lie, you know, like a 3-month-old with a fever, it is kind of like, whoa, okay.
It's a little unsettling, right?
It's a little unsettling.
Especially with the fear-based mindset that we've developed in our
society.
society,
About fevers, and so I'll never forget, they went to the hospital, they had to be there on Thanksgiving, and when my sister came back, I'm trying to remember exactly what they said. They were like, because she said that at the hospital, they were like, and then like the paramedics that were transferring her were like, oh, she's just fighting a cold. And then they took her to this kid's hospital, and in the end, she was just fighting like a cold or something. And then we do that with kids. We do that with you, you know, starting early on. You know, a lot of the treatments that a lot of you older folks had when you're kids, honestly, I don't know how you're still alive. Not from the disease like measles and mumps, but from the crap that they gave you guys. I saw something about, you know, giving your kids some whiskey and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
don't do that. We're not advocating.
Yeah,
for that, so
but then over time, there's this big disconnect. The truth is, there's a big disconnect between you and understanding your body. Women, there's a big disconnect of your cycles and what it looks like to be healthy and well with your hormones. And men, you're really getting hit hard with this testosterone issue because you have been taught that you're disconnected from your body. Mm-hmm. So here we go, spending our whole life disconnected, and fear together, it's a dangerous thing. So you get sick, or something's out of the ordinary, and you run to the hospital. Your kid's sick, you run to the hospital. And there's a reason why when kids come into our office, if they've been on multiple rounds of antibiotics, I know for a fact they will end up getting tubes in their ears. But research shows it. Number one, chiropractic care, the bomb for kids with ear infection. But research shows that when an ear infection is able to go through its cycle naturally, your chances of it coming back are less than when you give it a treatment to cut it back. So then you get older, and so I have people that come in, thyroid issues, men with hormone issues, people that have had cancer, or they're scared about cancer and Alzheimer's and dementia, and they're going to their doctor, they're not getting answers, or they're getting pills. But what you don't understand is that you have that system to fight cancer inside your stinking body, and you're going to your doctor asking him to give you something artificial that is trying to copy what's inside your body already.
Yeah, and think about it. I like to think about it this way, because we talked about childhood leukemia on here as an example with Sir Mel Greaves in his research. But what does it look like in an adult, right? That again, you may not be one that gets something like leukemia, right? You may not be someone that gets something like cancer, but what we're finding more often in our adult community is autoimmune disease. Guys, autoimmune diseases are absolutely rampant. We have an epidemic of autoimmune disease in the United States, and what I always think is just so whacked out insane is that the answer that the majority of our medical system is giving these patients that come in, they just say, oh, sorry, this is just the way it is. You have to live with this the rest of your life. And I'm like, let's think about this logically just for a second. Let's use logic. Let's throw down our medical books that were actually probably published by pharmaceutical companies anyway. But anyway, let's throw this down for a second. Let's think logically for a second. If you were not born with lupus, or if you were not born with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, you developed it. If you developed it, that obviously means something created that in your lifestyle. So what does that mean? That means if you developed it, you can get rid of it, right? By doing like reverse engineering whatever got you to that point. You don't have this problem that's been there since birth. They just didn't know about it. Like I even have patients that come in too, they're like, oh, my doctor said I'm 52 years old and I have type 1 diabetes. I'm like, no. You have type 1.5, which means you had type 2 that was rampant in your body for so long that it destroyed your beta cells, an autoimmune condition. And now you're like a type 1, but you weren't born with type 1 diabetes. So this idea behind autoimmune, unfortunately, like if you have an autoimmune condition and you're going the medical route, dude, I feel so bad for you.
Yeah, it's expensive
it's
too.
Expensive. It's full of lots of drugs, lots of surgeries, and no solutions.
And let me not try to let us not try to make this look like nice, let me just do everything they say. No. It's gonna take work.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay, and I tell that to people that come in. I was like, we don't prescribe medication, so that means we work with your body, which means you might get worse as your body's healing.
Yeah.
We support it then. So what does that mean? If you're looking to prevent cancer, if you're looking to fight cancer, if you're looking to reverse autoimmune issues, and we'll talk about more of the solutions after the break, it's going to take work. Yeah, that means you're going to have to give up dairy. Oh, but I love cheese. Do you love cheese or do you want cancer? Like, you can choose this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it reminds me of Janet. Janet came into our office. Y'all, I mean, skin issues horrible. She'd been suffering with it 5 to 6 years.
Like you can tell it was even affecting like socially.
I mean, on her neck and everything. And so literally before she came in, and she told me this about 2 weeks ago, before she came in, her next appointment at the doctor's office, she was going to start getting this injection. She wasn't sure if it was going to fully work. And as she's telling me this, I pull up the drug that she was about to get just because I had not heard of it. And like the side effects were like, I was like, do you realize like this can give you like kill your immune system, and like it will give you like destroy your gut, which is why you're here. She's like, yeah, but I didn't know what to do. She was about to do like, it's $600 a month after her really good insurance. She came into the office, we worked with her, got her gut healing, got everything. She was shocked. Like she said, it's to the point before she came in that she would bleed on her skin. And for the past 5 to 6 years, she was doing everything she was told, which is treating those symptoms. So we got down to the cause. For her, a lot of gut issues. And it all, cleared up completely. Cleared up. And she was amazed. She goes, I can't believe this. I can't believe I was like this, for 5 to 6 years. And like in a matter of a month and a half, it's gone. But then she went on a cruise. She went on a cruise for a week and ate like junk.
Yeah.
And was still doing dairy. And she came back and she's like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, you know the answer, but that's okay. That's why
you remind them it's a lifestyle.
Yeah,
right?
That's why you come see us. Yeah. We walk with you through it. But that's just to encourage whoever's listening that you have a kid that has, skin issues. Yeah, they might quote unquote go away, but I will promise you anything, it's going to show up in a completely different area as they get older. As an adult, you want to fight cancer, you want to prevent cancer, you want to reverse autoimmune issues, that's psoriasis, that's thyroid issues like Hashimoto's, and lupus and RA. If you have RA, it'll take work. You can get better, but man, the treatment for RA is just nuts. But yeah, it's crazy. So this is all to encourage you that no matter where you're at in your health journey, you're going to say, hey, I don't have any symptoms. That's cool, because I keep hearing these 70-year-old practice members come in and say, I don't know why I'm on so many different medications. I don't even like taking medication. Well, the reason why is because you live in a sick world, and even if you're symptomless, unless you're doing something different actively to take care of yourself, you end up like no one else. And then you can't say like, pray to God, like, why did this happen? And God's like, dude, eat good food, like exercise. So we're about to go on break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about touching on leaky gut health. Dr. Nathan's going to give you some action steps about strengthening your immune system and what leaky gut is. And so if you guys are listening, whether locally or far away, because we do virtual consults, give us a call. We set apart, for if you call into the office regularly, we're 2 weeks out. I think the girls have a few appointment spots that might be a little bit earlier. If you guys want to sit down with myself, work with your thyroid or Dr. Nate, anything at all, wherever you're at, we work with you to get down the call, see what that looks like. So that first consult, you can set that up with the girls. That number is 423-362-5360. Again, that's 423-362-5360. We'll see you right after the break. Hey guys!
All right. So talking about the immune system, it's a big subject because it really touches on every single every single chronic disease that's out there is going to involve something with the immune system. Actually, I saw one study the other day that showed that when you're looking at the majority of Americans, about 82 to 85% of Americans, even without an official diagnosis of autoimmunity, has some type of autoimmunity going on inside of their body. And so for some of you, that can show up as what? It can show up as like joint pain, right? Pain in the joints that you're like, man, I exercise, I'm trying to eat better foods, I'm trying to reduce stress, but I've still got these aching pains in my joints. For some people, again, it can show up as things like Dr. Rebecca talks about, thyroid disorder or adrenal issues.
Migraines.
Migraine headaches, man. Holy cow, that's a big one. Or it shows up as the big players later on, right? Things like Alzheimer's, things like dementia, things like cancer. And again, I always love, because sometimes when we make statements like, these diseases are preventable, a lot of people get like this, are you serious? Like, how can you even claim that? Well, again, I'm not claiming it based on my opinion, right? You start reading books like, for example, The End of Alzheimer's, right? By you look at somebody like that.
If you guys are concerned about dementia, Alzheimer's, have a family member.
Amazing.
It's the end of Alzheimer's.
Yeah. Dr. Bredesen is
Bredesen,
the
there
one who
you
wrote
go.
it. And
Dr.
he's,
Bredesen.
medical doctor reversing, symptoms of Alzheimer's and dementia in patients, and doing it really in the steps that we take with our clients and patients in our office. And so, it should be encouraging to recognize that there are steps that we can take to boost the immune system. So let's kind of dive into some of that. For some of you who are, listening on Facebook Live, I like to kind of go a little bit ahead of the radio show and kind of go through some things. I think one of the biggest problems that we have to recognize is that we're spending most of our time indoors, right? Like, so, and again, not to any fault of yours. I know that most of you guys, your job is inside. My job is mostly inside, so that means what can I do in my everyday life to mimic, right, what I'm missing out on, right? Or what can I do to make up for the time that I spend indoors? So, for example, here in Chattanooga, this weekend, it's gorgeous. So we're going to try to take some time to get outside, right? Maybe take
and
some time
dirt.
and eat, yeah, right. And have, Elijah and Rosie, put their hands in dirt, run on grass, get a little bit dirty, and we're
And
gonna
let them eat dirt.
Yeah,
And
as long as it's good. And
yeah,
not
we
south
know.
side.
Yeah,
It has
not
lead,
south side.
right?
There's
Yeah.
lead in south side Chattanooga. Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's important. But yeah, we'll take them hiking and stuff. Get them into a good, clean environment. Breathe in good, healthy air. One thing you guys may not know: did you know that the majority of the microbes and bacteria that you actually build up your lungs and your gut with come from the breath that you breathe in, right from your nasal passage. So even more so than what you put in through your mouth. That's how important that stuff is.
Welcome back. This is the Wellness Radio, and we're going to jump right in. We're Dr. Nathan, Dr. Rebecca Warren. We're here locally in Chattanooga, across from Hamilton Place, next to Home Depot, and we coach virtually all over the U.S. and one day internationally. I know we have a lot of international followers.
Yeah.
But today we're talking about, preventing cancer, fighting cancer, preventing autoimmune issues, reversing it. Guys, you got to start in the gut. So, what I find is that, a lot of people, I go, do you know about leaky gut? Yes. What is it? Well, no, I've heard it. Leaky gut is everywhere. And the crazy thing is, we've been talking about gut permeability. I guess leaky gut is, easier to say.
Yeah.
But we've been talking about gut permeability for a really long time. So, Doc,
Yeah.
talk to someone who's starting from nothing, get it, or and they want to start moving in the right direction. What is that?
It's when you have different lifestyle factors like the foods that we eat, the pesticides, the herbicides, the antibiotics, all of this junk that we're putting in our body that ends up damaging the lining of the gut, right? And when you damage the lining of the gut, that means it can't naturally hold in the nutrients, vitamins, minerals, in the gut the way it's supposed to. And so you'll unfortunately get some of those proteins that will escape through that lining and create damage, really in any parts of the body. What happens is when those proteins escape, your body attacks it, right? It sees it as a foreign invader and attacks it. That's autoimmunity. That's from, again, leaky gut, or gut permeability is another way to put it. But it comes from, like we said, it's coming from lifestyle. It's coming from the things that we consume, or the things that we're not, getting, from nature the way we should. I think I was going over here on Facebook Live that, majority of our lives are spent where? Inside, right? And so we're really lacking that connection with the earth, with getting our hands dirty, doing things like going hiking, breathing in good quality air, getting those vegetables that are not sprayed with crap, and actually grown in organic soil that have all those amazing microbes on it. We've really created an artificial lifestyle, right? And so when you create an artificial lifestyle, you basically start to what? You create artificial people who are ran off of artificial food, who take artificial medication to keep them alive.
And the crazy thing, but even we're not even artificial medication, but that's even how the supplement world came. As you go through the solutions, because you said something on, you guys, we're on Doctors Warren, we're live, DRSWARREN. Make sure to like and follow that page. But you said something that I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, you were talking about how you're teaching people go outside, eat some dirt. So I just realized all of the recommendations you're going to give, you know some amazing supplements, some amazing things to take. All of them whether your medication or whether a supplement, they're all just trying to mimic what you can naturally get. There's certain things that are going to be harder because, like GMOs and stuff like that. Yeah. But like you said, like for instance, take probiotics. Just eat fermented foods. You know what I'm saying? So I want, when you give these solutions, because I think that's so interesting, they give a solution that's convenient, but give a solution of where you can naturally get it in the world.
No doubt. Yeah. So when you're building up a microbiome, a healthy gut, right? Or really, we shouldn't always just say gut. Really, there's bacteria across the entire body, on our skin, everywhere. So when we're building that up, there's several places that I would like to get it naturally from nature first. So that would be things like, if you have even just a few plants, maybe it's a few herbs or a few things that are planted in organic dirt. I mean, literally put your hands in it every single day. Like, whatever you need to do.
Not miracle grow.
Not miracle grow, but get a garden going, especially as we get more towards the spring. But you can still plant some things inside if you need to. And again, get your hands a little bit dirty. We're meant to be connected to that. We actually know that the microbes that are in soil, right, good, healthy, amazing soil, are fantastic for building up the microbiome on your skin, which is actually your first protective mechanism, right, against the outside world, right? And I shouldn't even say protective mechanism. It's really just it's developing a relationship with the outside world, right? And so that's one thing. Go ahead.
And the crazy thing I was going to say, because you talked about soil,
yeah.
And now guess what, guys? You can go purchase soil-based probiotics.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So that's good too.
Yeah, if you refuse, not to plant a garden or not to do anything.
Planting a garden is not that easy. You should know that.
I do
all
not.
People,
we pretty much kill everything.
Because we don't water them. We don't give them an essential to life. But
one day we're going to become really good gardeners.
No, because you're going to hire a farmer.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
That's what you said. But
anyway.
Yes, probiotics. You can do soil. You can get it from the soil. Get organic soil, because that makes a big difference, guys. That makes such a huge difference. Actually, that's how antibiotics came around, from the soil. Guys, that's when they started studying that. So if you're not able to do that, I would say the next natural step is fermented foods to put good probiotics in there. So kefir, probiotics, kimchi, sauerkraut, fermented pickles with no additives. So fermented foods are going to be highly beneficial. And if you can't do that, if they're going to go out and buy some probiotics, what's your take on that?
Yeah, so if you're going to do probiotics, you need to be making sure that you're switching up, you're cycling through different species of bacteria. So that means if you've been taking a probiotic for over 3 to 6 months, you need to switch that up. And again, you need to look at specifically the species of bacteria that are on that probiotic supplement and get one that has different probiotics, that have different ones on there. I like spore-forming probiotics, to be honest with you, because we know that they're in their natural form that will actually make it through the acidity of the gut. A lot of probiotics that you guys are taking, you'll take 50 billion and maybe 1 billion will reach the area that you want, and it may not even proliferate well, because again, you have to create a healthy environment for probiotics to even proliferate. That's why I like getting them from natural sources. That's why fermented foods, you got a better chance of proliferating and harvesting the bacteria in the proper areas of the gut by utilizing fermented foods, right? So I like that. I like that the best. But if you're going to purchase one, you want to make sure that you're cycling through and doing different ones, or taking periods off of your probiotics, but cycle through and do it that way.
And I think the next thing we need to just touch on right before we go on break is you guys got to start eliminating the foods, man.
Yeah.
Just get it out. Listen, I get it. Bread's hard. I get it. You love cheese. But nothing costs your health. Nothing is worth putting your health through that. And the best way to explain it is that, whether you eat a little bit of cheese, whether you eat a lot of cheese from conventional cows, it's like you're getting beat up a lot, or you're getting beat up a little bit, you're getting beat up, period. So top allergen foods is going to be gluten, right? So yes, gluten is a sticky protein within, the whole wheat molecule. I want you to understand this. Yes, your great-grandparents ate bread. They weren't grown the same. The soil wasn't the same. They weren't genetically modified. They weren't sprayed with the same chemicals. And then they weren't even baked the same. In fact, I bet you your grandparents or great-grandparents baked their own breads. No, gluten is not the same. It is destroying your gut. It is wrecking your body. And, conventional dairy, just because it's pro-inflammatory, we're talking about A1 casein. And guys, let's be honest. you would not be okay if I was nursing my kid when he was 25 and yet we're taking a little baby calf's milk. And a lot of people are like, but our ancestors drank milk. I was like, yeah, because they also ate with the season. So they had milk and they only had a little bit of food. We have a lot more choices to work off of. So start working on kind of eliminating those things, switching the things. We got to go on break. When we come back, we'll wrap this up, guys. If you want to watch this, you want to share this, you want someone in your family or friend to hear it, go to Facebook, Drs. Warren, DRSWARREN. Share it. If you'd like our assistance in getting coaching, we have one appointment left in the office. So you set up that appointment is we tell you block out an hour time. We sit down with you to get down the cause of your health issues and look what it looks like for you to get well. That number is 423-362-5360. We'll see you right after the break.
All right, guys. So step one, we got to mimic what we would naturally get from nature, right? So here's how we do that. So we talked about fermented foods. We talked about, getting your hands dirty, go hiking, doing things like that. Here's some really good tips for you guys as well, too. So some of you may have heard of this, some of you may not have. There's actually a product, and if you go on our Amazon store, I've marked it on there, called Homebiotics, all right? And so this is an amazing product that was made that is basically like a prebiotic, probiotic for your house. So you can actually spray it around your house. It's a clear mist. It's not like you smell anything or you see anything. It's like a clear little mist there. You spray it around your house, and it helps to build up healthy, beneficial bacteria around your home or your office space. Now, what's really cool about this is it even does things like kills mold, right? So it does a really great job of killing mold. So you're actually allowing some of these really good microbes to develop in an area that you're in, hours throughout the day. So like for us, we have 2 little kids. We spend a lot of time on the floor, right? And they're rolling around, they're playing and things. So we want to make sure that they're getting good, healthy microbes. So Homebiotics is a great thing that you can actually use. You can just spray it in different areas of the house, especially where you spend a lot of the time, or the office. You can do it that way too. Then some of the other things that you can do as well that I'm a big fan of is we talked about gut permeability and leaky gut. Some of my favorite things that actually help to heal some of the things with closing up that leaky junction is by doing amazing things like goat's milk colostrum. So using like a Mount Capra. Again, I think that's fantastic. It's something that every single one of you, again, you can just order it from Amazon. We have it on our Amazon store there. It's very easy to get. Comes with a little scooper. You put a little bit in maybe a smoothie or something like that. And again, this is great for helping to soothe and clean up that lining of the gut. Using things like L-glutamine, I like that as a fantastic supplement. That again is like pennies on a dollar. I want to say, what is it, like $9 to $12 for a good bottle of L-glutamine that is tasteless, something that you can add in, is great for healing the lining of the gut. We got to start creating a good environment for these bacteria that we are coming in contact with to actually proliferate in the body. So that's step one with the immune system. Now, what are other things that help to actually support the immune system as well? Again, when you're going through, let's say, what you would call like a health crisis, or what we call in our society sick, some of the things you can do to support your immune system are actually very easy and very simple to do. So things like vitamin D3, vitamin K2, I'm a major fan of that. You want to increase the amount of vitamin D that you're getting, right? Why? Because again, from nature, we've been getting lots and lots of sunshine, which is fantastic. But I don't know about you guys, but here in Chattanooga, over the last 3 months, we've had like 0 sunny days until today, right? And so, again, I know I'm not getting an efficient amount, so guess what I do? I supplement with a very high-quality vitamin D3, K2, and again, for a lot of you that may, even suffer with things like maybe it's depression, maybe it's anxiety, some mental disorder throughout like different seasons, I would suggest drastically increasing the amount of vitamin D3 that you're taking, and again, always take it alongside of vitamin K2. And so,
Homebiotics. Oh, okay. She was tagging it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's
amazing. It does.
Thanks, Kaylee.
Help
She's
control
like, yeah,
mold
this
as
is
well,
all
too.
awesome.
Yeah, no doubt.
Nice.
You what?
So remember 59.
Oh yeah, perfect. So, again, those are some things that you guys can do when it comes to boosting the immune system. Vitamin C. Guys, one of the things that's been around for absolute years, and I know I'm not talking about drinking orange juice to get your vitamin C. I'm talking about actually getting a high quality, good vitamin C. Actually, there's better foods anyway if you want to get more absorbable vitamin C, like red bell peppers is a great way to get vitamin C. Acerola cherries is a great way to get vitamin C. Or supplementing with a high quality vitamin C is fantastic. And I like to sip on it throughout the day. So I'm getting anywhere from like 5 to 10,000 milligrams of it in a day, and that's great for immune boosting for sure. All right, guys, welcome back to Wellness Radio. I am your health expert, Dr. Nathan Warren. Hey guys, I've been so excited about this show because it's one of the shows that we get to actually, pour into people and help them recognize that, autoimmune, if you're diagnosed with an autoimmune condition, it's not the end of the world, right? Despite what your amazing doctor from Mayo Clinic or Vanderbilt said, right? Autoimmune is not the end of the world. Again, yes, you can take steps to prevent things like cancer, as we went over with the research study. If you guys are just now tuning in, make sure you go back and watch the beginning of this show on Doctors Warren on Facebook, DRSWARREN. Go on Facebook and watch that, because we talked about how, yes, there's cancers that are preventable by training your immune system and keeping your immune system built up. So what are some of the solutions, really quick, rapid fire, that I've went over? We talked about fermented foods. We've talked about, soil-based probiotics. But some of the ones that I think are great, things like vitamin C is a very simple way. Combine that with things like zinc and L-lysine. I think those are amazing immune boosters. Things like elderberry and echinacea, right? Oil of oregano used on occasion can be a great immune booster and immune modulator as well.
And if you guys are driving and you're like, man, I didn't catch that, go to our Facebook page, like our page, Doctors Warren, DRSWARREN. We are live, so you can come back and hear this.
Yeah, no doubt. And some other ones that I want to touch on really quick. Guys, just simple minerals. Guys, minerals help to take your nutrients into the cell and toxins out, which is going to help you stay well. There's so many people who come into our office that are micronutrient deficient. So you want to get those minerals in. They will absolutely be amazing. And again, guys, if you want our help, that number is 423-362-5360. Give us a call. We'd love to be able to sit down with you and talk with you. Guys, this is Wellness Radio. We'll see you guys next week.
Right on the dot.
I know.
What you guys don't know is there's a timer right here, and like my heart's like freaking out because we have to go to commercial. He always our engineers are always like, man, you do it right on the dot. Okay, that was amazing.
Got to pay attention, right? So again, here's what I want you guys to recognize. There are simple steps that you can take. Do you have any good immune boosters that you like to use at home?
I think minerals are huge. My favorite is always going to be vitamin D3. Actually, you know what? My favorite immune booster, to be completely honest, is time and rest.
Oh yeah, that's good.
I mean, the truth is, I have these moms, I get messages, or moms come and sit down with me, and they're always so concerned about their child being unwell or them feeling just really tired out. And I'm like, number one, when you get sick, when you're not feeling well, the number one thing above anything else that your body needs is rest. You don't feel like eating, don't eat. But rest, allow your body to just rest. Most of you guys don't even get good night's rest. So when you're sick, take advantage of it, and then give your body time. Especially if your body's been through a lot. Yeah, maybe the first time you naturally try to fight an illness, it's going to take some time. But the more you strengthen your immune system, the better it's going to get. So I have kids that have been on and off antibiotics for like their first 10 years of life. And the first time, they try to do things naturally, it's like, I don't understand. They got this infection.
Took them 2 weeks to get through,
yeah.
things like that.
And it's like, well, yeah, because the immune system hasn't been primed. It hasn't been put under pressure to come out stronger. And I would say, especially with kids, just keep an eye on them. Fevers are beneficial. I'm not even getting into that. You can look at the research. Hospitals are talking about the fact that febrile seizures, because seizures because of fevers, and fevers themselves are not dangerous. It's only when we're trying to artificially bring it down that it can spike up. So time and rest for me.
And then for those you biohackers out there, right, here's a couple that you can do, right? If you have a float tank center near you, so if you don't get, adequate sleep, or you got a crazy job, or you're always busy, always stressed out, you can find like a center that does what's called float tanks. And these are amazing. You actually lay in a bath, basically a bath that's neutral water, and you have things that it's basically lots and lots of magnesium, and you float on top of it. One 90-minute session is equivalent to about 9 hours of sleep. It's pretty amazing. It's like a sensory deprivation tank. So that's an amazing thing. When I did it, I thought it was like, dude, I mean, it was life changing. It was so amazing.
We gotta wrap this up, but I did sensory deprivation, and I saw lights, I saw vision, I heard things.
She's like,
I
I don't know.
2 different panic attacks. A majority of the people feel like him, so I'm probably just deterred people. But if you're a biohacker where you're like, I'm going to take it to the next level.
That's good.
And so David Reitzman said, great show, now enjoy the sun.
We're about to enjoy the sun. I'm excited about it. And again, guys, if you have any more questions about how to boost your immune system, how to deal with sickness naturally, or anything like that, man, feel free. Please message us. We'll definitely try to get back to you just as soon as we can, so that we can help you guys reach your health goals. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time.